Sajay Sapne come into fruition. So can you like elucidate on the journey that led to your initiative, and also was this related to Project Basanti somehow?
Okay, let's see. मैंने कल ही किसी को बताई थी ये journey, and then the reflection was that I need to make it sharper. So I'm thinking where to start from. Well, I often think that it's so hard to put things in like one moment, because I think a lot of that final action comes after a build-up of life experiences. And I think Sajay was similar. I think Sajay is culmination of a lot that I have lived and learned as a a person who has roots in rural India, who has exposure to different worlds, but also a lived experience as a woman. So it's a lived experience of different identities, I feel. It's a culmination of that, and it's still in making. So there are two parts to it. Like the one part is when the final, when the action happened, what was happening, what was the trigger, or what was that turning point, that what was the trigger in that moment. So I can talk about that, and then from there I can backtrack. I'm just going to take a pause and talk to Vivida. Vivida, aapko iska bhi chamak dhamak karna hoga.
Yeah, I'm listening to this. Yeah.
Cool. So think it, like listen it from that perspective.
Yeah.
So the Sajay had begun in 2020. And at that point, COVID ka first wave was going on. And I was unemployed at that moment. And I was also, my plan was to literally go to different villages and learn what is it that I can contribute in the lives of rural women. That was the plan when the first lockdown was announced. And then all the travel plans came to halt. I was doing some volunteering work for COVID relief here and there, whatever came my way, and I was getting involved. And one of the things that came my way was getting a smartphone for a young woman named Santoli in a village in Bihar, so she can continue her education after 12th. She comes from a Musahar community, and in her community, girls usually get married by 12th standard, by 12-13 age, not even 12th standard. So she was an exception who had finished 12th, and she had gotten like a really good score, and now she was desperately wanting to continue some form of learning so that she can still negotiate and push back her marriage. So I was supposed to get her a smartphone, and in the process of doing that, I got in touch with another woman, Phula, who is her friend, to talk to Santoli, right? And just Phula and I will talk to communicate messages to Santoli. And Phula one day told me that, Didi, teach me something. Anything that you want, just teach me something. And initially I had said no to her. But I think the thing that I kept thinking after saying no to her was, one, that this is a girl here who did not ask me for food, who did not ask me for money, while all of that is a scarcity in her community as well. What she asked me was for learning. And she was so hungry for learning that she said, whatever you want, I'm ready to learn. Just teach me something and anything, right? And that really reminded me of all my bhabis and chachis and didis back home in rural Bundelkhand, where you see this underlying hunger of learning, but you don't see the opportunities matching that hunger, right? कि कुछ भी सीख लेंगे यार, सिखा तो दो, पर उसके लिए मौका कहाँ है ना? मन है but मौका नहीं है. So that was the immediate connection. It also reminded me of something that I grew up listening a lot when I was growing up in my family. Was my father and my mother, both of them would say that तुम्हारी पढ़ाई तभी काम की है जब गांव के काम आ रही है, क्योंकि both of them were very connected to their villages. We come from a farming community, and we were like exceptions in our community who were going to school, who were going to colleges. Like nobody did that. So for them to take this, for them, the only sense for that privilege made sense was when this privilege is actually being useful in service of the villages that raised you. And I think that thing had stayed with me all throughout my life. कि अच्छा पढ़ाई, every education milestone that I had, be it IIT, be it Berkeley, every education milestone I had, I would always, like, that story was so ingrained that this education has to be useful to the villages. Otherwise, what's the point? And here it was, there was this one girl who was asking me, listen, I want to learn something. Can you help? And my immediate answer was no. So what's the point of all this education? And I think that really zeroed in for me in that moment. So I called her back in 2 days and I said, "ठीक है, कुछ शुरू करते हैं. Let's just start talking on phone." So Sajay started on conference call, honestly. So she and I started talking 12 to 1 p.m. every day. She brought in Santoli. I brought in a niece from my village. And then 3-4 more other girls from Santoli and Phula's friend circle joined as well. So every day we would do conference calls, 12 se 1, and we would, wherever their curiosity went, we would just discuss that. And it was so bizarre because we were learning about, let's say, Gmail without any interface of Gmail.
Surbhi ma'am, I would like to ask you, you mentioned that the curriculum at Sajay emphasizes the use of regional languages.
Yeah.
So how do you see language, especially mother tongues, functioning as a tool of empowerment in your programs? Also, additionally, that of affirmative vocabulary like Sapna Dal or Bharose Ka Kuan. Do you
Yeah.
think it helps young women express themselves more freely or challenge dominant structures in any way?
I mean, I feel, forget the empowerment. Isn't language the starting point for everything? Right? Like, matlab, koi bhi journey, I mean, okay, so there is bhasha and then there is bhav, right? Like, there is language and there is lived experience. You can have the lived experience without having the language to express it or articulate it, right? And vice versa. You can have the language and not have the lived experience, right? But at this, for whatever journey of big change you're hoping to make, isn't language a big starting point for it, right? And if someone is saying, oh, I want to be a professional, but professional को हिंदी में क्या बोलते हैं? अगर वो नहीं पता है, तो how would I imagine myself as a professional? Coder को हिंदी में क्या बोलते हैं? You know, simple things like entrepreneurship. I often give this example. Entrepreneurship को हिंदी में क्या बोलते हैं? आपको पता है क्या? It's called उद्यमिता. And now udyamita nobody uses in their everyday life. And you might have a entrepreneurship cell in Hindu college. उसका हिंदी वर्जन आप अपने मम्मी पापा को समझा नहीं पाओगे. Assuming they speak Hindi, right? So अगर मैं entrepreneurship को हिंदी में उद्यमिता बोलती हूँ, जो मेरे दिमाग में causes no visual, experientially it gives me no emotion, it evokes no emotions in me. तो मैं कैसे इमेजिन करूंगी कि मुझे एंटरप्रेन्योर बनना है? या आई विजुअलाइज माई सेल्फ एज एन एंटरप्रेन्योर, राइट? जैसे प्रधानमंत्री, प्राइम मिनिस्टर, प्रधानमंत्री का विजुअल भी है, it evokes an emotion as well, like a pride, you know, कि प्रधानमंत्री बनेंगे. So then she can imagine herself as a प्रधानमंत्री, right? पर तुमने एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप का, कोडर का, प्रोफेशनल का, मॉडर्न वर्ल्ड का, 21st सेंचुरी स्किल्स का, लाइक यू नेम एनीथिंग, AI, उसका कोई रीजनल भाषा नहीं है. तो फिर how are you imagining anyone who does not speak English, who does not belong to that world, to actually visualize that this is my world as well, right? I'll give you an example for you guys. Like, if you speak English so much, imagine everything that you're reading has Japanese written sprinkled in between sentences. It's an English sentence, but it has Japanese sprinkled in it. The dissociation will be so quick. तुम पढ़ लोगे वो सेंटेंस, कुछ वर्ड्स छोड़ दोगे, पर you'd be like, अच्छा, लेकिन अंदर तो पता है ना, पूरा नहीं समझ में आया. It's not my sentence. It's not my world. Now, that's what's happening to most of your non-English population in the country. So much English is sprinkled everywhere. In very critical life things. So how will the person ever imagine herself in it? How would she say कि अच्छा ये हिस्सा दुनिया का मेरा है? So for us, I think language was a big role. Not just forget empowerment to begin the journey, right? Like, empowerment तो होगा जब होगा, but शुरू तो करोगे ना कहीं. And And so we do create our own. It's like a Hogwarts. You create your own world. We have our own spell names. So और गांव की औरतों के लिए तो और, क्योंकि गांव की औरतों को ना, if you see the making of their identities in mainstream media, तो गांव की औरतें या तो एकदम अबला नारी हैं मीडिया के अनुसार या बॉलीवुड के अनुसार, या फिर वो एकदम सीधी साधी हैं, भोली भाली, प्योरेस्ट सोल. What about the whole range in between? Right? Like, how does she see herself? Does she see herself as an abla nari or as seedhi sadi? Right? So for us, we need to accommodate for that in between, because people are in between. So for us, that's how it began. Like sapne wali. Like she's not going to be abla nari. She's not going to be bhuli bhali. Like for us, what mattered was that any person who had the desire to learn and do something, they're just waiting for. वही मन है मौका नहीं है. तो जिसके पेट में आग है, if she has a fire in her belly, then she's a sapne wali. So, and the words should be such that don't exclude. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि पूजा या इनिका या सिद्धार्थ जब साझे की दुनिया में आ रहे हैं तो उनके लिए सपने वाली लागू नहीं होगा. जो भाषा उनके लिए लागू है वो हमारे लिए भी लागू होनी चाहिए. अदरवाइज यू स्टार्ट डूइंग दिस सेग्रीगेशन. We a lot of domestic staff we call exclusively दीदी. मतलब पर किसी और स्टाफ को दीदी नहीं बोलेंगे. आप क्यों नहीं दीदी भैया बनते हो आपके वर्क प्लेसेस में? तो वी जस्ट लाइक दीदी. तो धीरे धीरे हम अलग करते. तो फॉर साझे दैट वाज अगेन अनदर थिंग दैट अगर इवन इफ एन IIT स्टूडेंट कम्स टू साझे, दे शुड बी एबल टू से कि अच्छा यार ये मैं भी हूँ. आई वांट टू बी अ सपने वाली. आई वांट टू बी अ सपने वाला. And vice versa. Like when our students go to IIT, they should be able to say, yeah, I mean, it's a long-winded answer to your question, Siddharth. मुझे लगता है कि वो भाषा शुरू ही नहीं करोगे तो वो इंसान का भाव कैसे बाहर निकलेगा और नए भाव कैसे आएंगे if you let go भाषा, right? So for us, like Saja as a world is a new world, so it needed a new language. सपना सेंटर्स हैं, सपना दल है, सपने वालियां हैं, then there is so much more, भरोसे का कुआं, पहलवानी and all of that. So, sorry, I'm going to go back to that entrepreneurship point that in Saje we call entrepreneurship पहलवानी. पहल करना और समस्याओं से भिड़ जाना. Right? Isn't that what entrepreneurship is? So, and again, that word should be so welcoming that you can also say, अच्छा, listen, मैं भी पहलवान हूँ इस area में. This is where I do initiation more, and this is where I do problem solving in a nice way. This is where I'm a pehelwan. This is where I'm not a pehelwan, right? So we do a whole thing around pehelwani and many such things. But yeah, language is the start of the process, I feel. Start of that awareness of that process. Like you can have a lived experience, but how are you going to express it? So yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. It adds a lot of perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, ma'am. I would like to ask a question that during the course of your work, have you seen any patterns where the treatment meted out to women in the household differs from the popular perceptions? For instance, different from the notion that a higher income household is equivalent to empowerment and a lower income household means oppression.
That's bullshit. I actually think very differently on that. Like if you see statistics, no, of war and destruction, ask yourself, what is the cumulative education that is required to actually pull off a war? So more educated people doing more destruction in the world, or less educated people doing, or forget the education, resources. You require so much power and resource to pull off massive destruction, right? To me, statistically, that sentence doesn't make sense, right? But also more in everyday life, like it's a game of power we are talking, right? People who, I think we're all capable of doing bad things. Yeah, it's not nobody has the monopoly on bad emotions and bad actions. Everyone, all of us are capable of doing good things and all of us are capable of doing bad things. So the question boils down to power, right? To me, my understanding is, my experience of life is, and my understanding of my work and again statistics is that if you have more power, you have more access to abuse it as well. And when you abuse that more power, the destruction is going to be much higher than someone abusing less power. Right? So if a prime minister makes a bad decision in their position, the repercussions are much bigger than, let's say, Surbhi as a CEO of a small organization making the same decision. So just like framing wise, it doesn't make sense to me that, oh, lower income means you're going to be doing more oppression and higher income means like domestic violence. Domestic violence, it's not that rich people and rich women or rich families don't have domestic violence. Statistics show that there is so much domestic violence. But because of you have more power, you're going to be more sophisticated in how you hide it and how you fight it. In fact, for domestic violence, I feel like women who come from marginalized caste groups and low-income families are much better in fighting back in terms of like just yelling or like pushing back than someone who is sitting in a high-rise building and is a VP of a tech company. She will not do that necessarily, right? I also think this in terms of leisure, for example, for women's leisure, like of course there are differences in urban and rural and economic classes as well, but there are certain things that a lot of people with a lot of privileges don't have access to in the same way a person who comes from a less privilege has. For example, how do you stand? Like rural women can stand with their legs apart. They can also sit with their legs apart. A lot of urban women with a lot of big degrees would struggle to sit with their legs apart and with their body open. That's just one small example. So I think this swath generalization, that development and like casteism only happens in villages and like oppression of women only happens in अरे वो तो छोटे घर से, अरे क्या छोटे घर से यार? I mean, you can get very progressive parents with a lot of open thinking, with a lot of support for their daughters in households which don't have enough resources. Because again, they're capable of that. Why not? And you will get very controlling, oppressive fathers, parents in very rich families. And in fact, they'd have more tools to control because they have more power. So to me, the question boils down to how much power a person or an entity has, and given that power, how thoughtful and aware they are. Because their decisions can have proportionate response in terms of destruction. But yeah, I don't agree with that.
Thank you, ma'am. It really answered my question in a very beautiful way.
तुम लोग कब मैम बुलाना छोड़ोगे? Inika is doing a good job. She is not calling me anything. She is like refusing to Surbhi or ma'am. But yeah, you can call me Surbhi. But go ahead and go for the next question.
So I would like you mentioned in the that language can be inclusionary or exclusion, can lead to inclusion or exclusion. So how do you also see gender in this way? How do you see gender shaping rural development in India? In what ways inclusion or exclusion affects not just livelihoods, but also the social fabric of decision making and long-term growth in rural communities?
I'm thinking. मतलब कुछ factors तो ऐसे हैं ना, they cut across everything, right? Like caste, class, gender, they just ability, they just cut across everything that we do. Climate now. So gender is one of those components that cuts across everything. And again, we go back to the whole thing about power, right? Like what are systems within which we are living in, right? So patriarchy is one of the system, capitalism is one of the system, casteism is another system. So we're living in all of them all at once. है ना, अलग से नहीं हो रहा है कुछ. And if that is the case, then like I often talk to my students about सामाजिक चक्कियाँ. ये चक्कियाँ हैं कि इसके अंदर कुछ भी डालो निकल के एक चीज तरीके से आएगी. तो जब पुरुष सत्ता या पितृसत्ता की चक्की है, तो उसमें डालो कुछ भी, निकल के आएगा कि पुरुष प्रधान है ना। तो कुछ भी डालोगे उसके अंदर, अल्टीमेटली निकल कर आना चाहिए कि और आदमियों की सत्ता नहीं हिले, है ना। अगर पूंजीवाद डालोगे, कैपिटलिज्म डालोगे उस चक्की में, कुछ भी डालोगे, निकल के आना चाहिए पूंजी शुड बी द गॉड। हाउ कैन वी मेक मोर प्रॉफिट, वट एवर यू पुट इन दैट चक्की, निकल के आटा एक तरीके का आएगा, राइट। तो हम इसको सामाजिक चक्के साझे में बुलाते हैं। सो टू मी, अगर तुम्हारी चक्कियां इस तरह से डिजाइंड हैं, नॉट जस्ट इन विलेजेस, एवरीवेयर, तो वो तो हर दिन में दिखता है। हर दिन में दिखेगा कि सड़कों पे क्यों नहीं औरतें पत्ते खेलते हुए दिखती हैं, आदमी क्यों दिख जाते हैं। गुमटी पे क्यों आदमी खड़े होते हैं, औरतें क्यों नहीं खड़ी होती हैं। या और कोई और तरीका क्यों नहीं है उनका, सड़कों पे कोई और तरीका आराम और फुर्सत का क्यों नहीं है ना। 12वीं कोई लड़की पास कर ले और नौकरी में लग जाए तो वो खबर क्यों बन जाती है, वाई इट्स नॉट अ नॉर्म। आदमियों से तो उम्मीद है कि तो 12वीं के बाद कुछ ना कुछ करेगा, घर का चिराग है ना, हम बुढ़ापे की लाठी है, तो औरतें क्या हैं, you know। So I mean that it's just so, we're so in it, like I don't even know how else to answer that question, but with obvious the glaring facts of how we live life, right? And the expectation from young boys that they have to grow up and actually take care of the whole family without the kid has figured out in his own head what he wants to be. तो वो क्या, मतलब वो जेंडर रूल्स तो इतने रिजिड हैं कि हमें डर लग जाता है अगर वो थोड़ा सा भी शिफ्ट हो जाए, क्योंकि आवर होल वर्ल्ड इज डिजाइन्ड अराउंड दोस जेंडर रूल्स। तो ऐसे तो मतलब एग्जाम्पल्स हैं यार। मतलब द फैक्ट दैट यू हैव टू फाइट फॉर समथिंग, अगेन फूला हैड टू fight for her learning. It wasn't served to her on a platter. तो why? किसी को सीखने का मन है, उसको कैसे तुम मना, how can this world say no to someone who wants to learn? But the world is constantly saying no, ना। तो क्या किसको बहुत आसानी से मिलता है? औरतों को कुछ चीजें आसानी से मिलती है, आदमियों को कुछ चीजें आसानी से नहीं मिलती है, and then vice versa, right? I think the biggest answer that I feel for that question is that a lot of the systems have caused a major trust deficit in the society. तो बहुत गहरा ट्रस्ट डेफिसिट है और उसमें सब सफर करते हैं। तो आदमियों को औरतों पे भरोसा नहीं, औरतों को आदमियों पे भरोसा नहीं, तो मैसिव ट्रस्ट डेफिसिट है। एवरीवन इज गोना स्ट्रगल, राइट। रात में अगर हम चल रहे हैं कहीं सड़क पे, और अगर मैं औरत हूं और मैं चल रही हूँ सड़क पे, नो मैटर व्हाट मैन इज कमिंग इन फ्रंट, I don't care if he's a purest soul on the earth, I am going to change my lane. Why? Because there is a trust deficit in which he and I are functioning. So because of that trust deficit, everyone loses as a society, right? So to me, that's the biggest glaring problem, that rich people don't trust poor people don't trust rich people. Everyone suffers, including rich and poor, right? So that trust deficit is what, and the deeper it's going to keep getting, the more lack of harmony you will see for everyone involved. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yes, ma'am. So connecting to this point of chakkis that you have mentioned, I would also like to ask you, we have these attributes in society of being gentleman-like or lady-like, gentlemanly. So do you think these are largely products of patriarchy? And if so, how can we liberate from these benchmarks that we have set?
Call me khatam kar dena. We'll fix all the systems. You're asking big questions. I mean, of course they are. Like, what else are they, right? Like, of course they are. Like, it's just... how do you liberate yourself from it? मतलब सारे आपने जो डिस्क्राइब करे वो रोल्स ही है ना, हम परफॉर्मेंस कर रहे हैं और वो चक्की के अंडर परफॉर्मेंस कर रहे हैं। अगर आप एक समाज में हो तो आपकी परफॉर्मेंसेस डिसाइडेड हो जाएंगी जो समाज के कल्चर से, उस समाज की चक्कियों से, जिस भी समाज में हो। और अगर नहीं आप वो रोल्स सब्सक्राइब करोगे तो फिर वो चक्कियां आपको दर्द देंगी, राइट। अगर आप पेट्रियार्की में बोल रहे हो कि नहीं मैं तो टकली होके मेरे को घूमना है, मतलब सिंपल थिंग्स, राइट, लाइक ब्यूटी रोल्स, जेंडर रोल्स क्या है, औरतों को बाल लंबे होने चाहिए, आदमियों को टकला हो सकता है, पर मैं बोल रही हूँ नहीं मेरे को टकला होना है, तो ठीक है तुम ले लो वो निर्णय, but the institution in which you are functioning is going to give you problems. And like I find it very funny actually with beauty roles, women just remove or not remove their hair, that makes them hero. Why are you तो बड़ी bold और brave है, इसने बाल कटा लिए पूरे. It's just hair. Why does it become such a big deal, right? But that's the level of सामाजिक चक्की. तो इतनी कम उम्मीदें हैं. जैसे वो एक लड़का कोई प्यार से पूछ ले how do you feel, how are you feeling, तो अरे वाह यार कितना इमोशनली अवेयर लड़का है. तो स्टैंडर्ड्स हमारे में गिरे हुए हैं. हम क्या उम्मीद लगाते हैं एक दूसरे के जेंडर रोल से. It's shitty. But of course, this is a product of all the systems in which we are functioning. How do you liberate yourself? It's self and then it's collective. I think you can't liberate yourself unless तुम वो collective का हिस्सा नहीं बन रहे हो. क्योंकि मैं साझा में भी बहुत बोलती हूँ कि हवा कोई भी गंदी करे ना, बीमार सबको होना है. And फूल कोई भी लगाए, खुशबू सबको आनी है, right? And that's a commentary on the interconnectedness of us. और ऐसा नहीं है कि हम विद्वान हैं, हम लेकर आ गए. There's so many cultural contexts actually have the same emphasis on interconnectedness, है ना. मतलब अफ्रीका का उबंटू ले लो, इंडिया में इतने सारे हैं कि we're all interconnected. तो जो लिबरेशन है वो इंडिविजुअल की तो नहीं है, वो कलेक्टिव की है, राइट? कि वो कल्चर ऐसा कैसे बनाए कि दूसरी चक्कियां आ जाएं, है ना. हम चक्कियां रिप्लेस करना चाह रहे हैं, दूसरे सिस्टम्स आ जाएं. So one is just deeply becoming aware of your interconnectedness and functioning accordingly, knowing that my actions actually give permission in this culture to do something or not. जब 10 लड़कियां मान लो बोलेंगी कि नहीं मेरे को तो पढ़ना है, तो all of a sudden it impacts the whole culture, right? So then there is a possibility of a newer chakki. I do often feel that I have markers of liberation. To me, leisure does feel like a big marker of liberation. And to me, leisure is where your performances are down, like you're not performing, your guards are down, you're just allowing self to flourish. And I feel that's a very good marker to check how liberated a society is in any system. And the most vulnerable in that group, if they can be at leisure safely, that means that space is very safe and very liberated. तो तुम अपने घर से चेक करना शुरू कर सकते हो, सड़क पे जा सकते हो, कॉलेज में जा सकते हो, and then you can keep expanding that radius. That where is leisure of the most vulnerable is allowed. And that's why like women at leisure to me becomes a big marker of liberation in that sense. But those are markers of liberation. I don't know the process of liberation. I think the process of liberation begins with probably one is interconnectedness, second is knowing that it's a lot of inner work and not just external work. Like knowing कि जब तक मैं अपने आप से नहीं उलझूंगी, I can't be the contributor in the collective for that liberation. Like unless I don't liberate myself with the help of collective, a lot of things, I'm not going to contribute in a productive way to the liberation. Because one of the things we also do is ना कि oppressor, oppressive and protector. इसका हमारा ना एक triangle बहुत अच्छे से चला हुआ है. और ये तीनों हमारे अंदर है, right? Surbhi can be oppressor, Surbhi can be the oppressed, Surbhi can be the protector. Right? And how do you break this triangle within and outside? Yeah, it's a very philosophical answer to your very practical question. In summary, be a nice person, don't be a jerk. It'll impact everyone around you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello, Survi. In reading your work for Project Basanti, we want to know why you think leisure is political and how it can be an act of defense for women or perhaps other genders too.
मुझे लगता है कि लीजर जो है उसका जो भी पॉलिटिकल आउटपुट है वो बाय प्रोडक्ट है. At least in my head, I don't see act of defiance as the goal of leisure. I don't see the resistance and the fighting should be the goal of leisure. It's actually very oxymoron. I want you, when I'm hoping when someone is at leisure, I'm hoping that they're not fighting. Right? So to me, the political agenda or the political outcome of it is a byproduct. It happens so that your leisure becomes, there is a political outcome to it, right? But ultimately, what is leisure? At least the way I define it in Women at Leisure, that leisure is a time and space, the window of that time and space where your guards are down as much as possible, where you allow self to flourish, right? And when the self is flourishing, in that process, while your self is, so first your internal world is becoming, your internal world is, you're making your internal world, or you're revealing your internal world. In that process, because you are becoming, सराउंडिंग में कुछ हो जा रहा है, ठीक है? तो जरूरी नहीं तुम एक्टिवली उससे लड़ रहे हो, पर क्योंकि तुम जो हो, it is impacting the surrounding because you're interconnected, right? So yeah, I usually don't pitch Women at Leisure, the project, as an act of resistance. A lot of people write about it that way, but that's not how I think about it. I think it's a deeply, it's a very beautiful, sacred space for self to flourish, fighting or no fighting. Because leisure is very important, even if it didn't have the political outcome, right? Now, why does it have a political outcome, or why is it an act of defiance? Primarily because every system that जो हमारी सामाजिक चक्कियाँ अभी हमने जो discuss करी, ये systems are, they're designed to not let you be you. They're designed to curtail your you-ness, right? Capitalism is going to tell you कि अच्छा 5 ways you don't look beautiful and that's why you need to buy this product, right? Or capitalism will tell you you're not worthy enough because you don't make that much money. Right? Your worth is contingent on something. Your selfhood is contingent on something. Patriarchy will say the same thing. If you don't do XYZ things, what's the point of you being a man? So again, your worth and your selfhood is शर्तें हैं उसकी. जब आप ये 5 चीजें करोगे, तब हम आपको बोलेंगे आप मर्द हो. और लीजर एकदम उल्टा है. Leisure is saying कि जो हो वो हो. Right? Leisure is saying, so to me, when we talk about oppression, we think about big destruction. Right? But oppression essentially is so hard to deal with because it's part of everyday life. Who do you meet? What do you eat? What do you wear? Where do you go? What do you believe in? That's oppression. That's where oppressive systems function in your everyday being and everyday life. So if oppression is all about curtailing you, being you, leisure is a very sharp antidote to that, because leisure is saying just be you. As much as possible, be you. Right? And I think that's why it has a political outcome, because it's philosophically and ideologically, it's exactly उसकी जो लीजर की जो चक्की है वो पुरुष सत्ता या पूंजीवाद वाली चक्की से एकदम फंडामेंटली दूसरी चीज से बना हुआ है ना? उस लीजर वाली चक्की में जो डालोगे निकल कर आएगा यू, राइट? तो वो आई थिंक दैट्स द रीजन व्हाई इट हैज पॉलिटिकल आउटकम्स. Or it has defiance outcomes, but I think it's bigger than that. I think leisure is not just about resistance, it's about creating yourself as well. So even if resistance was not happening, leisure would be very critical and important. Pooja, does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
तुमने सुबह से शुरू किया था, मैम से खत्म कर रही हो.
ट्राई तो इतना करना.
My agenda of this call is by the end of it.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, Surbhi. You've talked of religion as a socially sanctioned way of expressing leisures, particularly for women. And do you think there are other moments in life where this can happen?
Or happens generally, you mean?
Yeah. Yes.
And this is an Indian context we're talking.
Yes.
Because that context is very important. I think one of the things that I have noticed while doing Women at Leisure project is that religion does give permission to women, a lot of women, to be at leisure. And that does not That does not free religion by the blame that a lot of religious practices in different religions are also very regressive and repressive for women, right? So there are two contradictory truths that exist together, right? It is true that a lot of religious practices in different religions oppress women, and at the same time, it is also true a lot of religious practices and religious spaces are the leisure spaces, sometimes only leisure spaces that are accessible to a lot of women, right? When religion ki aad mein, you're allowed to dance, you're allowed to sing, you're allowed to go out and have a picnic just by women, right? You're allowed to express romance to your husband in the name of religion, right? So that's there. The other places where this social sanctioning or this bargaining happens is weddings. When you see weddings, a lot of different religious, again, in different communities, weddings provide a lot of space for women to, again, be at leisure without being judged. So a lot of women will be very, for example, there are rituals which are literally around women being raunchy and being very filthy in their language. Kyun? Because it's part of the wedding ritual, right? You're allowed to just break free and dance. Why? Because you're so happy it's a wedding time. Right? So weddings are in other places. I also think that in a lot of urban spaces, kitty parties have become those spaces because you don't see women playing outside, right? कहाँ खेल रही हैं औरतें? Grounds पे तो नहीं खेल रही हैं. It's easier to imagine grown men playing cricket in playgrounds or mohallas, but you won't see women playing anything. तो कहीं तो औरतें खेलेंगी ना? तो वो कहाँ खेल रही हैं? So you see a lot of these kitty parties, जहाँ पे a lot of, apart from the savings and the financial angle to it, there's a lot of games that happen within kitty parties. And kitty parties have different names in different areas, right? Like हमारे area में, it's called BCs. तो वो औरतें इकट्ठा हो रही हैं और वो जगह बन जा रही है लीजर की, और परिवार भी अलाउ कर रहा है कि हाँ जाओ, BC में जा रहे हो या किटी में जा रहे हो, right? So these are few more places where that is allowed. Like घरों में physically when you see balconies and terrace, या फिर अगर आप ऐसी जगह पे जा रहे हो जहाँ पे balcony और terrace नहीं है, किसी बस्ती में या झुग्गी में जा रहे हो, तो घर के बाहर का आंगन, that becomes the spaces which is socially women are allowed to linger there, women are allowed to loiter there. But she goes 5 steps away from that and does it on a shop, that is not allowed. So even physical spaces, there is a boundary that society has said that this is allowed. Until here you can be at yourself, but beyond this don't be, right? You also have a lot of community spaces. Again, I'm going to a bit more urban setup. In Mumbai, for example, or in Delhi, Delhi India Gate was that community space. है ना, वो community space इतनी accessible थी कि all of a sudden families and women and all kinds of people could come and be at leisure because that was a communal space. In Mumbai, you would see like the Marine Drive, for example, है ना, कि वो socially sanctioned जगह, यहाँ आके आप relax कर सकते हो, यहाँ आके आप एक तरीके से relax कर सकते हो. पर वो भी बदलता है. The same space can be like you are allowed to be at leisure for certain class groups, but the other class groups are not allowed. For example, malls. Malls में certain look and a class needs to show up if you need to be treated respectfully, right? So then all of the same leisure space gives different permissions to different peoples. Groups of people. But yeah, I think to me, just a shorter answer to your question is weddings, kitty parties, another public communal spaces become that, again, socially sanctioned for your leisure is allowed. Your leisure is allowed, Beauty parlors is another one. वहाँ औरतें इकट्ठा होती हैं, socially sanctioned, कि हाँ, but आदमियों के लिए नहीं है. आदमियों को हम ब्यूटी पार्लर में नहीं जाने देते उतना, और उनका लीजर इज नॉट सेलिब्रेट, दैट स्पेस इज नॉट फॉर देम. फॉर एग्जांपल, इवन वेडिंग्स में वी डोंट लेट, देयर इज नॉट इनफ स्पेस फॉर मेन टू बी एट लीजर इन वेडिंग्स. फॉर मेन इट्स डिफरेंट काइंड्स ऑफ स्पेसेस वेयर परमिशंस आर गिवन बाय सोसाइटी कि अच्छा यहाँ पे यू कैन बी एट लीजर, राइट? But yeah, go ahead, Siddharth.
Surbhi, when we talk about socially sanctioned leisure, like you said, so we can also talk about it in rural contexts where leisure becomes a gendered performance. Women are only allowed to rest socially in socially acceptable ways, like maybe chatting while cooking in weddings or wedding preparations, or maybe taking short breaks between chores or stitching together, doing activities like that, like you mentioned. Even when you talk about these religious spaces that are sanctioned spaces of leisure. So I want to ask you, how do you challenge or expand this idea of leisure beyond performative roles at Sajay Sapne?
At Sajay? I mean, the biggest thing at Sajay we do is, apart from creating the spaces of leisure where you won't be judged for expressing yourself loudly or expressing yourself in a way that works for you, apart from creating those spaces, I think just philosophically how Sajay is designed. Like Sajay fundamentally believes in few things. And so whole education and learning is designed based on those learning principles, right? Like one is that we used to say this, Sajay ka curriculum and learning culture have like 5R principle, which is like it should be rooted in the reality of the person who's studying, right? It should be very rational building. Matlab, not assuming that this person doesn't know anything or मैं इसको जाके सिखाऊंगी. It's assuming that this person knows stuff. I just need to rational with them on and see can we build something together, right? 3, we say it should be rejoicing. Learning doesn't happen if you're feeling fearful or if you're feeling detached. Learning happens when it's rejoicing. So the space for joy is not a byproduct, it's integral to the process of learning. So it should be rejoicing. And fourth, it should be relational. We don't grow in isolation. We grow our strength. Our quality of life is directly proportional to our quality of relationships. So the quality of learning is directly proportional to the quality of relationships, right? Like the learning happens. So relational is a big component of Sajay's learning culture. So there's a lot of emphasis and work that goes in just nurturing relationships and learning how to nurture relationships. उसको autopilot पे नहीं डाल सकते. It has to be a very intentional thing. And the 5th is when all 4 of this happen, then it becomes revolutionary, right? Like then it becomes something that can upend the existing impact of existing social structures. So that's how we do it. I think just principally knowing what are our priorities and values. So for example, we don't have exams at Sajay. We have, Pahalwani matches at Sajay instead of exams, right? Or like, I'll give you another example for, like if conflicts are happening at Sajay, punishment is not the way to go. कि अच्छा अगर आपने कुछ बहुत गलत कर दिया है तो पनिशमेंट करेंगे बाकी हम, है ना? वो नहीं होता, क्योंकि वो पता है कि वो काम नहीं करता है ना, वो जिसके साथ गलत हुआ है उसका कोई भला करता है और जिसने गलत किया ना उसका कोई बहुत चेंज लाता है, राइट? सो देन प्रिंसिपली यू हैव टू आस्क अगेन कि अच्छा इट नीड्स टू बी रूटेड, इट नीड्स टू बी relational, it needs to be rejoicing, it needs to be rational building. So then what do? You do okay, knowing that person who is hurting others is definitely hurting within a lot and suffering within a lot. So then you need to create a space for both, for the person who has been harmed and for the person who has caused the harm. And then figure out what is the way to hold this person accountable while also respecting their humanity. So then you do a lot of restorative justice, for example, right? Instead of just saying कि अच्छा आपको तो प्रोग्राम से बाहर निकाल दिया गया है, अब बस खत्म. And then there is a lot of, when you take this 5 together, there is a lot of leisurely spaces gets created. For example, dancing is core to Sajay team also and Sajay students also. Because, and you do a lot, like there is a lot, it's a very game-based environment as well. Like you'll see a lot of women playing. And then you also challenge the power structure between the facilitators and the youth that is working together, right? Like simple things like, अभी मैं जो विविधा को बोल रही थी, चमक धमक, like कहाँ चमके कहाँ धमके, like it's a feedback mechanism, right? So can my students give feedback to me on how I took the session? Or is it always going to be one way round, right? Like मैं ही बताऊंगी तुमने क्या सही किया, क्या बेहतर कर सकते हो, right? So the chamak dhamak, if you come to Sajay, students can easily do CEO ka chamak dhamak and the CEO can do students ka chamak dhamak, right? Allowing that, power distribution to happen. So all of that together, I feel, creates a bit more space for leisure, for liberation, for allowing yourself to be yourself, creating spaces for respecting and celebrating for what comes out of your inner world, right? Believing that your inner world matters, believing that your inner world is so rich. All of that combined, I think, does something, you know. बाकी मस्ती बहुत करते हैं, तो मुझे लगता है मस्ती, व्हेन यू डू मस्ती, जब मस्ती की जगह है तो बहुत कुछ ऑलरेडी टेकन केयर है. पढ़ाई भी बहुत करते हैं, पर हम मस्ती भी बहुत करते हैं. या
Thank you, Surbhi.
So, Surbhi, I want to ask that when we give the privilege of leisure to women, and when it is given to a woman who's been deprived of it for most part of her life, I don't really see my mother actually indulging in leisure that much.
Yeah.
So, when it is given at a later stage in life, will that actually prove to be liberating for her?
Only she can decide that. How can you and I decide that? And also, if it is given and it's not claimed, I don't think she's being liberated. ना आजादी दी नहीं जाती, आजादी तो ली जाती है ना. जब आपको लग रहा है कि आपको आजादी उनको देनी है, तो वो तो आपकी आजादी ना, वो उनकी आजादी थोड़ी है. And I think only she can decide that. Like, I think I don't think there is a set formula or set rule or set conditions in which कि अच्छा इतनी उम्र तक लीजर मिल गया तो लिबरेशन होगा. I think it's a very internal, it's a strong internal journey. It's an internal journey of awareness कि पहले तो ये देखो कि इस पूरे इंटरकनेक्टेड जाल में तुम कहाँ हो, है ना. So it's a journey of मतलब मैं साझे में हम लोग बोलते हैं पहले देखेंगे, फिर सोचेंगे, समझेंगे, फिर बदलेंगे. अब ये प्रोसेस बहुत जल्दी भी हो सकता है देखने का, सोचने समझने का और फिर बदलने का. बहुत स्लो भी हो सकता है. People spend all their lives and are unable to do that. Sometimes people have deep awareness, and then they get a chance. Like for example, a lot of women, मतलब मैं जब छोटी थी ना, तो मैं सोचती थी घर में, जब मैं लड़ाइयाँ देखती थी तो मैं सोचती थी कि मैं जब बड़ी हो जाऊंगी तो आई विल टेल women in my family कि देखो पिटना अच्छी बात नहीं होता है, आपका हक है कि आप नहीं पिटो. And then you grow up and you realize कौन सी औरत को पिटना पसंद है. Like who is waiting for a advocate and an activist to come there and tell her that it's her right to not get beaten up? Like intuitively she knows she doesn't want to get beaten up. So awareness तो है, पर हम awareness program बहुत सारे चला रहे हैं, but awareness तो है. The question is उसके पास सोचने समझने के tools हैं या नहीं, और फिर उसके पास बदलने की power है या नहीं. तो अब ये बदलने की पावर, सोचने, एंड पावर भी अलग अलग तरीके की है ना. एक तो अंदर वाली पावर है, उसको कितना जल्दी मैं एक्सेस कर पा रही हूँ, कितना जल्दी रियलाइज कर पा रही हूँ. Then there is power within, there is power over, there is power together. So if your mother has the solidarity of, let's say, 5 family members, all of a sudden her power together has increased a lot. Or if she's able to access her power within, to be able to say, listen, this is bullshit, I don't want to deal with this, I'm out of it, right? So yeah, I don't think there's a set formula, and only she can decide that at what part of liberation and what degree of liberation she's at. But it has to be, आप दे नहीं सकते हो, तो उनको लेना पड़ेगा. She has to claim leisure, she has to claim liberation. Can't be given, है ना.
I would like to ask you last question, that have any stories of Sapne Wale stayed with you over the years, perhaps even challenging your own perspective?
हाँ यार, बहुत सारी. My God, इसमें तो कहानी ही कहानी है. The earliest one that I laugh a lot about is the first Sapna Center we had. It had a toilet जिसमें Western toilet and Indian seat toilet were both together, but there was no partition between them, right? So it was one room जिसके अंदर both the seats are there. And I remember that was the only toilet we had for like 25 people. So I thought that, we need to put a separation between them, so at least 2 people can go together. So that might help. That's the easiest solution we can do. But the students had come and we didn't do the separation. And I started seeing that a lot of our students are just using it. Two, they'll go inside. And I said, Arey, what are you doing? Tum dho chali jati ho. Usme kya hai? And I think for me, in that moment, I realized that this idea of nakedness, so this idea of that you can't be naked in front of the other person, or the idea of shame is a borrowed idea. Na? Ye unki duniya ka idea nahi hai. And then I realized that in Madhupura, in my village, when women go for open defecation in morning and evening, they literally sit in a circle. I have sat in that circle. तो गांव में तो वो होता है ना. तो ये जो शर्म कि नहीं हम बट हमारी किसी और को नहीं दिखा सकते, it's a very urban shame. It's not necessarily was their part. So they were just so like, why do you need a parda? Like two people go inside because there's only one toilet and there are 2 seats. So why would you not use it? And it was so obvious. And I think it reminded me of my own, whatever, how my conditioning is changing. But I think bigger than that is, I continue to be surprised by, I shouldn't say surprised, I continue to be amused by how much Sapne Walis get done for themselves and what comes out of their inner being when they just have a space and they have the opportunity to do that. हर साल कुछ ना कुछ मच रहा होता है. हर साल, I mean, just now as we're speaking, there's a Sapna Center that just got started a week ago. And it's a गांव की वहीं की लड़कियां उस सपना सेंटर में आ रही. It's a non-residential सपना सेंटर. पहले दिन का मैं जब वीडियो देख रही हूँ तो वो एनर्जी इतना लो है, हाथ नहीं उठा रहे हैं, या फिर वो डांस कराने की कोशिश कर रही है फैसिलिटेटर पर, वही बॉडी बिल्कुल तंग है, राइट. एंड आई जस्ट सॉ अनदर वीडियो दैट केम टुडे. उनको पहलवानी मैच करना है ना, तो अपनी लर्निंग मेला लगाना होता है उनको हर हफ्ते. तो वो पहले हम लोग सपना सेंटर के अंदर ही लगाते थे. तो यू लिटरली मेक स्टॉल्स ऑफ प्रेजेंटिंग व्हाट यू हैव लर्न इन दिस वीक. दिस टाइम वी हैव सेड कि वो गांव में जाके तुम लगाओगी टेबलें और जो पब्लिक आएगी उसको बताओगी तुमने क्या सीखा है इस हफ्ते में. तो पहला हफ्ता है ना. और आई रिमेम्बर वन ऑफ माई टीम मेंबर वाज आस्क्ड मी कि यार पहला हफ्ता छोड़ दे क्या इनका. मैंने कहा नहीं, पहले हफ्ते से ही करेंगे. उनको आदत हो जानी चाहिए, हर हफ्ते पहलवानी मैच होने वाला है. तो आज सुबह वो फेरी लगा के आई है गांव में, चिल्ला के कि हमारा पहलवानी मैच देखने आना. तो एक होता है कि तुमने एज ए डिजाइनर वो एक्टिविटी डिजाइन करी थी. दूसरा होता है जो वो रियलिटी में तुम वो 10 लड़कियों को जब चलता हुआ देख रहे हो और चिल्लाता हुआ देख रहे हो. ओहो, it does such beautiful things to your brain and I'm sure to their brains. It opens up a world of possibilities. कि अच्छा और बड़ा सोच सकते हैं, इतने पे क्यों रुक गए. You know, we could think like let's push more, like let's see what all is possible. So lots of stories, yeah, that definitely challenge, and I'm glad it does. It challenges my understanding of what is possible. It always expands it. कि अच्छा ये भी संभव है. और उस अभी पहलवानी मैच में जब उन्होंने दूसरी फोटो भेजी तो औरतें आई हैं. So there are women who are sitting, साड़ी पहन के पूरा सिंदूर लगा लोगों के वो इंगेज कर रही हैं. अब सोचो ये उस दुनिया में अभी तक कभी हुआ नहीं है, ये पहली बार ऐसा हो रहा है. तो सोचो ना अगर हम और कितना सोच सकते थे कि क्या और हो सकता था. So it always expands my sense of possibilities. And that's what the frustration is कि तुम इस देश में इतनी सारी गांव की औरतें हैं और हम उन पे ध्यान ही नहीं दे रहे हैं. मतलब how to me it sounds like a stupid decision economically, politically. It's the whole population ready to work, ready to learn, and how are you not engaging with them at their level, you know, at their potential? So yeah.
Thank you, so we really loved your stories.